What's up, everybody? It's Sketch Monkey here. This video, I'm gonna do a fun challenge because I got a lot of questions about this. Of course, it's about sketching cars, but pretty much the basics of sketching cars. So I'm gonna try and show you how to sketch cars in perspective, side view, with using as few lines as possible. So I'm gonna try and stick to like three lines per sketch, in addition to the wheels. So I'm gonna do the wheels. That's gonna be kind of the perspective, and then we're gonna jump into putting down the key lines to get the car right. And I think it's gonna help you guys a lot, because if you get this down correctly, you're all set. Then you can get into the details of sketching, designing your car. So let's see how this goes. First, what I like to do personally is always put down the baseline. Now, before we get into the sketching part, just make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. That way you get notified when new videos are uploaded every single week. So I want to put the baseline down first, just to have that as my reference. Once I'm here, I've done this before, but I think it's worth repeating. I want to put out the wheel arches, and the width of the wheel arch, or the wheels themselves, is going to determine what kind of perspective we're going to sketch this car in. So the wider the wheels are, the more of a side view it is. The narrower they are, the more of a rear or front view is going to be. So basically we have the first line here. We have the baseline. What we want to do now is determine what kind of car we want to sketch. Do we want to sketch an off-roader, an SUV, a Jeep, or something like that? Or do we want to sketch, more of a sports car or a sedan? So that, how we determine that is the next line, which is the shoulder line. And the shoulder line is the line that goes from the hood and then under the greenhouse all the way to the back. And in this case, let's just do the simplest thing. We can do a few of them here. Let's start really simple just to get going. So I'm just gonna put it down like this, just a line like that. And now we have the shoulder line and we have the baseline. So what we need next is, of course, the greenhouse. And same thing there. There are a lot of things you need to think about when it comes to the greenhouse. That will kind of determine what type of car or vehicle you're sketching. So first of all, you got to think of where the A-pillar is starting. You want to think about the height of the greenhouse itself, the roof, and you want to think, where is it going to end? Is it going to end before or right over the rear axle and make it a sedan, or can you stretch it out and make it a coupe, or a two-door? So in this case, we can make just make a coupe, say it correctly. Americans always say coupe, and it kind of confuses me. I was like, what do you mean coupe? It's called coupe, and living here for so many years, I kind of started to adopt that, which is wrong. It's called coupe. We can start the A-pillar somewhere around here. Hope you can see that little dot there. It's behind the front axle, but still giving enough room to make it a nice long hood. And then I'm just gonna put it out and see what happens. Like that. So here we have 3 key lines to sketch a car. It's very, very simple. The baseline always ends up being lower than what I initially sketch it out as. So the baseline is going to be down here. And then I want to put out some end point of this sketch. And here, that's pretty much all you need. When you get these lines correct, it's so much simpler to sketch the rest of the car once the proportions of these 3 lines are down. I hope that makes sense. And then from here, you can start to add whatever lines you want. You can start to go into designing the car and add the front part. Just cut it off right there. And then we can have some sort of end to the car as well. Maybe make it go like that. And also continue the baseline in the back like that. And from here, go into the greenhouse, Connect that. So this is the simplest car, in my opinion, to sketch in perspective. It's just a regular side perspective view of a two-door car using 3 key lines. I've done a similar video before, I think it was a couple of years ago, and it got really good feedback, so I just wanted to create kind of what I've learned through the years since then. And also for anyone that hasn't seen that video, I just wanted to make sure that this is something that you practice to get the line number 1 down here, 1, 2, and 3. And then of course you can play around with the distances, the height of this, for example. You can play around with this height. Audi usually do 2/3 of body and then 1/3 of greenhouse to make it look like the greenhouse is kind of it gives a sportier look, and it gives the car a planted look because you have more of the mass towards the bottom of the car. So this distance here is 1/3 and the body is 2/3 of the full height of the car, if that makes sense. I could put out some wheels like this. There we go. Very simple wheels as always. Like simplicity, want to keep things quick and simple. Don't have to overcomplicate things for ourselves. Alright, so that was the first car. Now we want to do this in, let's say we want to do a side view of an SUV or a Jeep or something like that. So we're gonna start the same thing, same way. I'm gonna put out the wheels. And the wheelbase here is also something to think about. You wanna, you kind of wanna take a photo of an existing car and find it in side view, and then you kind of measure the distance between the wheels. So you take the width of one wheel here, and then you try to copy that and see how many wheels you can fit in between the axles, and that's what you're gonna use in your sketch. For me, I kind of, you know, can eyeball it. I don't have to measure it anymore because it kind of makes sense to just put it down and see how it looks. And if it looks weird, I just need to, you know, change the wheels a little bit. But it's kind of easy once you've done it a few times. You don't need to measure it anymore. So the difference here, of course, is the ride height is going to be higher. And we're also going to have a higher shoulder, and we're going to have a higher greenhouse as well. So all of these lines that we did in the first sketch, they're going to be higher up now. So I want to put let's just put it out. Let's just make it simple and put out the shoulder line first. Like that. So we have line number 1, line number 2, and then line number 3 is going to be probably up here somewhere. So more of a 50-50 split between the greenhouse height and the height of the vehicle itself. Does that look correct? I think it does. So from here, we have our 3 key lines. We have number 1. We can make some wheel arches as well. Usually, off-roaders have more of a squared wheel arch design, so I'm gonna put that out here as well, just to kind of be in line with the type of vehicle I'm sketching. And we can put out the windshield like that, and just add some fun details to the design of this vehicle. We can kind of cut this line up there, maybe make something like that, like an angle in the bottom of the greenhouse, and then put out some B pillars if you want to do that. C pillars over here. Actually, C pillars over here, but just to make the cut line for the door. Make it something like that. Weird looking door. And the front door as well. And then for the rear, just want to extend line number 3. Do it like that. And there we go, we have an SUV. As you can see, the difference here was very simple. We just moved the lines. We still use the same three lines to sketch this car, but the only thing you're changing is the position of the lines and the what's it called? The relationship between the lines. So depending again if you're sketching an SUV, a truck, or whatever it is you're sketching, right? You wanna keep that in mind. We can put out some ground shadow here, like that. And, you know, now we're done. We can start to design the car. Design it however we like now. Put out some features, some graphics and stuff like that. But that's not really what this video is about. So I'm going to continue with... We can do a truck next. We can do a truck in like front view and see how that goes. The... thing with a truck is they're pretty much the same. You're gonna use the same relationship between the three lines as you do when you're sketching an SUV. The only difference is that line number 3 here, the top line is not gonna continue all the way to the back, obviously, because it's a truck. So we're gonna start by putting out the first initial line that will just help guide everything else. And I'm gonna put out the wheels as well now to make it, let's see. Something like that. Put out some wheels. Not make them too big since it's a truck. You're gonna need some rubber on there for off-roading capabilities. Put out the end point right there. And from here, we wanna start going into the shoulder line, and the shoulder line should be something like the SUV, which means higher up from the wheel than if we were sketching a two-door, but still not too high. So we don't want to sketch a bus or a semi. So we want to keep it semi-low. Let's see how this goes. Something like that, and then we want to copy that line over there. Kind of measure, kind of try to find where the greenhouse would start on this. Maybe somewhere around there. Just trying to eyeball this right now and see if we can get it right from the start. So here is line number 3 coming right there, and I'm gonna cut that off right there because it's a truck, so we need to have the bed back here. And we can now cut it off in the back because trucks are very, very simplistic design, usually in the back and the front, because they are most of the times, they're designed for industrial purposes, so they don't really have a lot of styling features to them, which makes it very easy to sketch because you kind of have you're kind of working with boxes instead of curves. But they do have the same kind of squared what's it called, wheel arches or wheelhouse. So I'm gonna do that here as well. Put it down like that. And boom, we have ourselves a truck. Very, very simple. It might look simple, I don't know. But it might not. It probably isn't that simple when you're starting out. It's gonna take... I know for a fact it's not gonna be easy when you're starting out, because it took me... I don't know how long. It took me a lot of years to figure this out and to practice doing this, and I was kind of overcomplicating things. So I didn't think about, what lines really matters when sketching a car. When I first started sketching cars, I was thinking about details too soon before before having any of the proportions down correctly first, and that just messes up everything with the sketch. If you don't have your basics down before you start with details and styling features of the car, it's not gonna look good, because it's gonna look way off, and you won't be able to fix it, because the problems are so fundamental that you're gonna have to start over with a new sketch. But once I started to really think about what kind of lines actually matters in a sketch, that's when everything started to get a lot easier, and the car started to looking way better. And that's what I kind of want to show you with this quick video here. So that's about it. Then we can go in here and do whatever we want. We can put, I don't know, we can put some graphics in here, or some reflections and stuff. The usual stuff. Like that. Put a window in here so the driver can see something. Does that look good? I think the hood might be too long. I kind of want to shorten it down to here or something. But I think you get the point. So here we have line number 1, line number 2, and of course line number 3 right there. I hope this video was useful for you. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to comment below. I'm more than happy to try and help you out. And let me know how it goes. You can tag me on Instagram, The Sketch Monkey, if you try this out. I would love to see your result from doing this. And I will see you in the next video. Take it easy, guys.